Welcome everyone. I have quite profound messages that came up in the Metatron read today, as well as the Shaman Dreams with 3 other decks, the read I did yesterday. So I would at least catch those 2 reads. They're very important, the messages that came through, as well as the big read on the table, the 7-deck read. I also did 2 other of my standard messages of the day with the Wild Unknown Animal Tarot with the Gilded and the KIPPER deck, that one. If I don't have enough time, I'll do those 2 in a separate video. I just want to make sure I get these 2 reads, the Metatron and the Shaman Dreams read and the 7-deck read on the table for you guys. And we'll see if I have time for the other 2, okay? So let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths first to help ground us into this reading. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Might want to hold it for a moment. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to all of you. And I hope you're having a great day. It's beautiful and sunny here today and hot. And thank you so much for joining me and being here with me. So let's get into this. I was just seeing the bird energies coming through earlier. A lot of the lion energy was coming through. And initially it was the lyran, so more of the dolphin energy, but also the lyran being the cats and the birds. But the lyran was coming through with the birds earlier, and then the cats were coming in with the lions. And then here, right before the read, while I was doing this, I was getting the bird energy coming in, but I'd gotten the lion right as I went into it. So again, all of those very significant, profound energies are coming up of the whales and the dolphins, of the lyran energy, of the cats and the birds, and our ancestry in those regards. And they definitely come up during the reads today. So let's go ahead and roll the die first before I get into this Metatron read. For the twin flames today is June 26, 2022. The 6 is the lovers, the 26 is the page of wands, and the day adds up to 38, which is the queen of cups. So yesterday was the king of cups and the knight of wands. So today is the queen of cups and the page of wands. So a little bit of that kick start of fire energy, of inspiration for both the king and the queen of cups, of unconditional love. And let's go ahead and roll the die here for the twin flames, June 26, 2022. All right, so we have the 9 coming up here, which is the energy of the Hermit and Virgo. It's also September, of Virgo to Libra. It's also about endings and compassion and universal selflessness, as well as the Hermit being the one and the all of the collective consciousness. So again, it is that all-encompassing energy. We also have Pluto here, which is that most outlying energy hovering over us, that profound change for the world as opposed to the individual changes. And then we have Aries here, which is that, just jumping right into something head first. That very aggressive energy of that kickstart at the beginning of the astrological chart. And also Pluto is going to be the energy of Scorpio and Aries. So there may be some Scorpio coming up here too, as well as the Virgo energy. Yeah, it's a lot of profound energy of the ending and the beginning all at one time in that energy of the 9, because that goes from Virgo to Libra, which is right in the middle of the chart. It's that 0-point field type of energy of bringing both polarities into the center. So there's very much that energy of the chaos of the beginnings and the ending being transmuted in that Virgo to Libra energy right there at that midpoint. So we're going to start, and Spirit's really connecting with me as I was just telling you that. My little pointy thing, it's buried here. Yep, that wasn't it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So here's the Metatron Read. I did this one today. I'm going to bring this to you first because the energy is fresh and there's some really profound messages that came through in this. These are the underlying energies here. The bottom of the deck is this card here, the Endings card. I went down, normally I go down, there's 3 in the underlying energies, and then I go down 4, 4, and 4 for 12. And then the 3 over here, 3 here, and then 3 here, which is the 21 read. But for some reason, I went straight across here. So it brought the 9, 15, 18 all together here with the extra message down here. But I was getting another row here. So I feel like it was supposed to be the 12 cards, but just arranged differently in the way I read it to you, because it then split off into 2 directions, which gave me another message. So that's the way, you know, we start here, it goes across to here, and then this is the 3rd card, and then these 3 down, and then these 3, these 2, and then these 3 came out as well, and then these 2. This is the extra message at the end. This is actually a pile of cards that I had to count. It was not the 2 cards specifically, although they do come out in the 10 cards read. But that was, I had to get the number 10 because that has to do with destiny and the Wheel of Fortune. So let's get right into that read so you understand that more. So again, today is the 26th day of June, and we are in the energy of Cancer from now through July. And of course, July is significant because it's Independence Day coming up in the US, and there's a message about that coming up as well. And again, we have that Lionsgate energy is all through this time period up through the teens, really, or all of Leo going through August. And by the way, the Chinese Valentine's Day is August 4th this year, 2022. So there is that energy of women's rights coming up in the public eye right now. And actually, I got a call this morning that woke me up at 9:11 regarding that. The Metatron read started at 9:47, which is the 9 of the Hermit, the 47 of the 7 of Cups, which obviously is having lots of choices, but it's also, for me, synchronicities and heaven in your eyes, that heaven on earth that we imagine in order to bring it into manifestation. So the Hermit and the dreams, the dream, I'm just getting I have a dream is coming up now. So I was getting not only Martin Luther, but Lincoln was coming up as well. I have a dream. So you're really using your imagination, Spirit's connecting with me. The underlying energies, like I said, was the Endings card, which is like the sunset of every day, that we have endings every day in the sunset. And that the sunset is reflecting back to you the energy of your ancestors, your future and past ancestors, and giving you compassion to allow the purging that you need to go through, that it's okay. As far as the first card out was Mother Earth, which is like the Earth, the element card, Earth, and it's number 18, which is the moon, and we are in the moon of Cancer energy here, and the 0 point field of the purple moon. The colors that came up in this read, first in the underlying energy, were blue and green very significantly, and the yellow coming up in that Endings card was bringing up the blue and gold that make the green in the heart chakra. And again, the energy of the blue and gold rays of the twin flames, the rod and staff unions coming into the green of the heart, the emerald order, and the first card out being that Mother Earth, that we are part of Earth, Terra Gaia, depending on the density you're considering here, and that we are all part of the same ascension. We're like, you know, the minuscule bugs on your body. It's the same thing as us on the Earth. We're all part of this ascension and evolution. And evolution is actually the second card that came out with the Page of Cups, 40, which is that innocent, pure love. And her love having us on her, allowing us to feed off of her. So the colors came up blue, green, the underlying energies, and then we had indigo and gold. So there's that blue and gold again, the profound energies of the rod and staff twin flame unions. And then in the extra cards, we also had red. So the red root chakra coming up at the bottom of it all, right? The safety and security issues that we all hold, all of the wounds that we've been clearing from the lower 3 chakra systems regarding safety and security, specifically here with the red and the root chakra, and at the root of it all, our initial connection to each other so many years ago, right? And the elements that came up were all the 3 of the 4 elements of the basic 4 elements, except for fire came up. So the fire did not come up. We had earth, air, and water that came up here. So going into this read, we started at 10:10, the underlying energy with the mother holding space, being present and silent, as the Knight of Cups is that healing heart in the emerald forest, allowing endings in the sunset each day, where you are held while grieving free will versus love, and I'm just getting Roe versus Wade. Grieving free will versus love, water, and crystal child. The indigo rebels are bringing in the crystal children, the rebuilders. The blue and gold make green. The blue from the mother, the gold from the father, son, lingering still in the orange horizon. Whore eyes on him, and that's the reference to the Mary Magdalene of the Jesus. The whore's eyes are on him to heal the heart, to meet her halfway in finding compassion for himself. And then at 10:19, which is the wheel and the sun, destiny of the sun, the father, and its rays of the sun, the one of Mother Earth, grounding support, holds the divine masculine in gravity of her planetary love. And then M13 came up, which was so weird because it came up yesterday. So M13 is Messier 13. It's a cluster that's very bright in the sky. And it came up, where was that? There was something yesterday where the M13, yeah, I was watching Indigo Angel. And by the way, there's 2 really good videos that are going to come up here that I recommend watching. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. But Indigo Angel had some good talks. This one video was with Rex and the Leak Project. You'll see that because that was one of the recent ones yesterday or this week. Talking, she brought up M13, and I wasn't sure what she was referencing. I don't know if that has to do with the Elite 12 or not, but M13 was coming up when she was talking about J seals and things like that. But also Elena Danon's video with Dan, you must watch that because that has to do with the crystals, the Vogel crystals, which I was drawn to the Vogel crystals several years ago, so I did a lot of research on that, as well as it came up again now, and it's a couple times where I've researched it. And I actually found one of the teaching videos years ago when I was looking up Marcel Vogel stuff. I came across a video that I swear it was my father there, and he was doing Marcel was doing some work, I guess, down in Costa Rica. And my dad spent a lot of time in Costa Rica because of his inventions, and I swear that one of the videos is my dad sitting there with Marcel Vogel, so that was kind of interesting to see that. I'm not sure if it is my dad or not, but so anyway, Elena's doing that Vogel crystal video, actually giving you information on how to use them and how it connects with Thorhan's younger brother's instructions on how to use the crystals. So it's a really good video to watch. So anyway, back to M13 is Messier 13, which is Hercules. It's best seen May through September. It also came up as a business that was a full-service venture engine for startup companies. So M13, they were advertising themselves as being, you know, so much more together as they are as singly or apart from each other. It's the brightest star. Excuse me, the brightest star in M13 is V11, a red giant. So here we're talking about the root chakra again, the red giant. A B2 type of star, unusually young, Barnard 29, is also a star in the cluster, picked up on its orbit around the Milky Way, so it wasn't actually part of it initially, but it ended up being part of the cluster, because the young ones aren't typically seen in this M13 cluster. Other stars in the cluster are very old, with only about 5% of the sun's iron content, as were formed before the stars in our galaxy created metals. M13, and this is from NASA website. M13 also contains about 15 blue stragglers, old stars that appear younger and bluer than their neighbors, kind of like the starseed and the blue rays. Dense, very dense in the center of this cluster, with over 500 times more concentrated than those closer, like Alpha Centauri, which is only 4 light years away. It was discovered by Halley. I assume that's the same guy for Halley's Comet, Edmund Halley, who's English. And he quotes his discovery as, in a right line with Zeta and Eta of Bear, somewhat nearer to Zeta than Eta, and near Scorpio. And there's other information in there too. I was just summarizing that. It's a cluster that's equal to the left butt of Hercules. M13 lies within the keystone, which is supposed to be the torso of Hercules, which is also called, it's called the keystone. It contains the stars Eta, Pi, Epsilon, and Zeta, Hercules. So M3 lies within this keystone, a familiar asterism that marks the torso of the celestial Hercules, about a third of the way from Vega in the Lyra constellation to Arcturus in Bootes, 4 stars that form the keystone, which I just told you. And then back to the read, we're getting into the hexahedron cube, icing her 0-point fields, as in Mother Earth, the evolution of the new heart in the Page of Cups, that pure innocent love, and the mother present in Cancer to Pisces' new heart. So it's referencing the mother and the child of Cancer and Pisces here. Setting boundaries each day of nature and love, the key here being the aura around things, right? Does it have consciousness, radiating the sun's light? Patience, balance, and a higher love gets you to the gate of that new dawn. At 10:53, which is the Wheel and the Knight of Swords, the High Vibe New Dawn is the number 10 card, which is the destiny of us, the age of Aquarius. And they were guiding me to break down Aquarius for you guys, because it's called the water bearer, but it's not a water sign. So there may be some confusion around that. And what came out of this was really quite beautiful. So Aquarius is aqua plus Rius. And oh, my sound just shifted, just like I would lose my hearing on the plane when your ears pop. The same thing just happened, except I had no popping physical sensation. I just had that sensation of the shift went from my left to the right ear. Oh, that was weird. It was very strong, but yet I didn't feel anything physical. I just noticed the sensation of it. So the aqua water of Aquarius and the Rius, which means to laugh of all things, and also gives the energy of the rider, right? Coming in with the delivery, having fun, and lightening things up. So I wasn't really, they equate Aquarius with the aquarium, since it's a very similar word, but they're very different. Because Aquarius is the water with the to laugh energy of the rider, and aquarium is the water with something that holds that water in. The rheum is a holder, it's a container for the water to hold it in. So the emotion of laughter with Aquarius and the rider, welcome back to the Valley of the Sun and the Phoenix rising. The King of Wands needs balancing here, as the path to the sun has far-reaching effects for future ancestors, with appreciation and healing in energetic exchange back and forth with the King of Wands, who may be coming up as the Shaman energy, which is very Leo here, and the Holy Grail with sudden replenishment of love and Akashic records of wisdom and seeing new perspectives. The balance here of love and wisdom, which is that love and light energy, on the path to the light. From the emerald heart to the sun, as the blue aqua here of the mother's heart to the field, and the King of Wands becomes imbalanced along the way, calling in all ancestors back and forward to catch him up to the mother's aqua heart here. The compassion at the end of each day, as the indigo looks for the stars up in the skies, which is interesting because I looked up last night to see if I could see all the planetary alignment, because there was initially 5 planets in alignment on the 24th, or the morning of the 24th, and then there was, I'm losing my voice a little bit here. I don't know if they're not telling us something about this planetary lineup, but there was 5 planets initially, and then there was it was up to 7 planets that were being able to be seen, but not in perfect alignment anymore. There was actually 6 in the lineup on the 24th, because the moon was in there with 5 other planets, all in line in the order of their distance from the sun. So it was a very unusual event. So you see the lineup that's coming up here, and then the 7 planets being seen as the indigo looks for the stars up in the sky to complete and master the mysteries of life, exuding love up to the King of Wands and that Page of Cups, the evolution of the new heart, the sudden gold in the opening of a page in the Akashic records, to understand how this all came about. And this is where the cards split for me because of the way I was guided to put them down today. There was a split here, which is referencing the split between you, and Spirit's connecting with me very strongly, between the twins when you left each other. There's a split here to the Queen of Cups and the Wounded Warrior. And the other way is the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. And it's going to explain the 2 directions. So to understand how this all came about, our existence and the split of the twins, since if you are a twin, you want to understand our beginnings as well. A split here to the Queen of Cups with the Wounded Warrior, or the Queen of Cups with the King of Cups. So what happened here is we have the Queen of Cups and her light body, not her chakra system, but her light body is fully activated next to the King of Cups, who needs to detach from the drama that he's in order to look up. He needs to become the beacon, catching the waves, which the waves coming in, that beating on the beacon, create that energy of the light shooting upward back to the sun. The Atlas energy of that pillar is the masculine coming up here, along with Big Bird of the Queen of Swords coming up as Hercules here, which Hercules is her harvest. As the 6 of Cups, authentic children loving each other within and without, are discovering their abundance, the thanksgiving every day in bridging the Queen of Swords to Hercules 44, and then it's bringing up Messier 13 again too, because that's Hercules. 44 is that energy of Atlas as well, the grounding and integrating and mastering of receiving of love, that 4 of Cups in the Tarot, but the 44 actually in the numerology book, the Divine Triangle, is that Atlas energy. So we add the energy of Hercules to Atlas, Atlas being the masculine, Hercules being the feminine, her harvest is the 44 of Atlas, the weight of the world, and remember the story of Hercules giving Atlas a break. The Queen of Cups with rainbow wings, and the King of Cups lighting up. The wind beneath her wings, literally, was coming up here. The other direction of the split is the Wounded Warrior activating the Kundalini through the chakra system. It's like one comes in with an activated light body already, and the other works their way up the chakra system in order to clear each chakra. So this is the Wounded Warrior sitting there with activating the chakra system to go through each one, coming together with others for healings and for travel to do grid work. The Dolphin Crystal Water light work and healing through hands, your hands and others' hands on you, as well as through water, as we are the water and the light, and the ocean takes in the sun's light as well. So that's very healing for us to go in the ocean and the salt water as well. The aqua and the crystals in the air is referencing the same energy as the ocean water with the light beating into it, right? Breaking rainbows on the crystal water, breaking rainbows into the air that also has crystals in it from the clouds and the air. Also taking in the sun's light with the birds and the Aki, or the aqua line of the eagle line. So we have the aqua water line of the dolphins and whales, which also reference the Lyran energy. So it's not only just the fish in the sea and the dolphin and whales, but the cats and the birds as well all come from that line of Lyran. So we have the Aki, so Aqua is AQUA, but the AQUI has to do with the eagle line of the Aquila, and also the eagle constellation, which is Aquila, and also brings up the Achilles heel of the thoughts, right? So the aqua and the crystals in the air also are taking in the sun's light with the birds, and the Aki, which means to be here. It's also the tree, to be here and there. The plural of aqua. So AQUI actually means aqua. They're one and the same because we all come from the same place ultimately. So it is all the same of water and shower, as well as to be here and there, and to be the tree, that trunk of the tree. And the Aquila of the eagle, and the energy of being dark colored comes up, and that has to do with the first people on earth being very dark-eyed and dark-haired. And they're I'm just going to leave it at dark color. We're not going to talk about skin color because the first people in Mesopotamia were considered to be of more fair skin with dark-eyed and dark curly hair. But there could be some dark-skinned people here as well. And let me just finish going into what we're getting into because it's very interesting what came up here. So again, the Achilles heel of the bird line, right, and being in your head too much. And then the Aquarius versus Aquarium, where the Reum is with me. So that means with Aquarium, the water is always with me. It's always in me. They're holding the water, whereas Aquarius has to do with lightening up the water, less water, making it more light, not so serious. So, and also Aquil, A-Q-U-E-L, is a certain something, that je ne sais quoi, the cause, the circumstance, or this one, but something that's not very specific. It's a generality, a feeling. Then I looked up AQ specifically, which was so interesting, because did you know that AQ is the code for Antarctica, and also the Al-Qaeda, and it also means white, so much, pig, woodlouse, academic quarter. So the academic quarter references of 15 minutes of the start of a class or lecture, but that actually gives leeway where it actually doesn't start for another 15 minutes. It's like the portal, right? It's that 0 point field, that time just prior to, but yet open to the start at the same time, right? It's being open to the closing and the beginning all at the same time, which is that 0 point, the space between. So the AQ also means automatic qualifier and autism quotient. So it literally is a determination whether or not you're autistic or Asperger's syndrome, AQ. So then UA, so we have aqua is AQ, which I just defined for you, and UA is defined as an astronomical unit. This also means nothing, as well as I and I am, I was. It means vein, as in the body vein, and the rain coming down. It also means the number 2 of the twins, the grape and the flower, the yard and the court or the fence. It also means to kill or to go, and the palace, royal courtyard, and to be of good character or behavior. So, Aquarium is holding the water, where Aquarius is laughing at the water. So, keeping, like an aquarium, keeping other fish afloat, you're doing the job of carrying the other fish, versus Aquarius, which is not taking yourself so seriously. The AQ and then Urius came up as Urius, U-R-I-U-S, which means fair wind, and Jupiter, the Roman god of the wind. Found in older Latin until the Augustine age, which then brings up July and August, because that has to do with Julius and Augustus Caesar. So it's saying the Mesopotamian era, it kind of ends when the Romans took over. Very interesting, huh? So that when the Greeks and Romans start taking over. And remember these definitions, because little bits and pieces of the definitions then come back into the other messages that came through. So at 1137, which is justice, truth and balance and alignment, the 37 of the King of Cups, which is that unconditional love, and the water sign, as we're talking about water, and 11, which is Libra energy of balance. So we have the word Aquarius, which means Antarctica, or the 0 point portal, Asperger's versus autistic, astronomical unit, or the I am and I was, the I am and I'm nothing as well, the vein of the body as well as the rain of the sadness, right? The pumping of the vein in life and the rain of taking that away. And the I am of the two, not just one, the grape and the flower, the yard and the fence, to be and to go and to kill, to be of the palace and yet of good character too. That's the tricky part. And finally at the end, to laugh at it all. This is the meaning of Aquarius. Also the portal of spirits connecting with me as well. It also means the portal of fair wind, of Jupiter, at least until Julius and Augustus. July in the US and August in the US. Lionsgate, where Sagittarius meets Leo, and oh what fun, laughter in the wind in summertime. So Sumers came up, right? Sumerians is coming up as summertime. Somer literally means also beast of burden and a horse with a pack or case, right, with a heavy load. So literally the Sumers are coming up as the Sagittarians, the beast of burden carrying a heavy load, the weight of the world, the Atlas energy. And then this comes up so cool. So we're talking about, the first humans of 3,000 to 4,000 years before Christ, and the Babylonians, which is the area. Oh, excuse me, Mesopotamia is the area, but there are multiple people in charge, and the Assyrians, the initial people, were considered pale skin with dark eyes and curly dark hair, thick lips, large, slightly hooked noses, kind of like a Thoth energy of a bird, the eagle, round, protruding, and they literally defined it, and this was in Wikipedia, defined the round, protruding eyes as Jewish type. I didn't know that Jewish had a type I, but I guess they do in the dictionary here. And a thick muscular body. So we're talking about summertime and the Sumers. They are the horses, the Sagittarius, the beasts of burden carrying the weight of the world, or the Atlas energy like the masculine. The earliest known civilization of ancient Near East, 4,000 to 3,000 BC, in lower Mesopotamia, which is also the Akkad, A-K-K-A-D. And I challenge this Mesopotamia thing because my guides keep telling me that Morocco is our place of origin. And we don't even know if the earth has moved since then, right? Because that was so many thousands of years ago. The landmass may have shifted since then. So what we consider back then may not even be correct because of the land shifting. But my guides kept telling me that Morocco was the place of origin. So I looked up Morocco, and literally the word Morocco means made from goat skin or sheepskin, so having to do with the goat climbing the mountain and the sheep of the lion and the lamb. Okay? A strong ale, it also means a strong ale brewed in the Cumberland, which is so weird because on my travels in the past couple weeks I saw Cumberland a lot. So in breaking up Morocco, M-O-R-O is the Muslim or Moors, who are that dark energy of North African or Arab, or the Moors, literally, or Islamic or of Arab or Berber origin, ruling Spain and parts of North Africa from the 18th to the 15th centuries. There is energy of black and Negro coming up in that definition as well as of the Moro, so not just light-skinned people. The customs, the mores, it also means hello and hi, so it's like a friendly group. The Morgan comes up, which is a Swedish god. And the gravel, of course, very grained rocks such as rapakivi or the mulberry tree, and the color blue also comes up under Moro, as well as amusement and fun, paralleling with the laughter that's coming up in Aquarius and the Leo energy as opposed to the Sagittarius. So it's referencing the masculine and the feminine. The masculine's coming up under the Saggy energy of the 1221, and the feminine coming up under, and that can even be 1212 actually, because that's the fire gate. And then the 8-8 of the Lion's Gate of the feminine, which we're all very familiar with, and that Sirius alignment. Notice the seriousness there, but we're lightening it up. Maraka also means dark-eyed, dark-haired, white-skinned man, but also means non-identical twin. Okay? So the humans who came into Morocco, and I'm not saying when they came in, they may have come in before the Mesopotamian people or at the same time, but I'm getting the timing of like the masculine and the feminines being placed in two different places at the same time, right? And we're not talking about a whole world of people, because this is just the twin flames, which is not 8 billion people. So the non-identical twin comes up as the Moro. How crazy is that? And M-O-R-O-K with an accent over the first O also means the Moors, health, big, large, great, magnifying, and exaltation, which is so weird because I was dealing with exaltation yesterday of the planets because I was looking up the exalted signs because I didn't feel like I agreed with all the exaltation signs of the astrological chart. It also means celebrate, boast, and begrudge. Much, many, plague, and murrain also came up under Morocco. But ultimately it was identifying the Moors and being healthy as well, big, large, and great, and magnified the exalted ones. So it's saying the exalted ones coming up into Morocco in the mountains by the sea as opposed to in the desert far away from the sea. So we have the last part of Morocco is CO, which you would normally think is company, which is fine, but it also means water and grass. It also is the rooster, which is the wake-up call, the cock. Also the caw, which is another wake-up call. It means toward, blow, neck, and ditch, trench, and channelers. The duct and aqueduct, which is the water bringer. Also, what every then with togetherness, shrinking, again, so when coming together, shrinking, right? So it's like humbling oneself to be together, to actually become greater, to see and to say and be the lake of calmness, of that calm sereneness. That's all under the word CO. And I looked, there was a Babylonian picture here. It was a recreation of what Iraq would have been back then. And when I first looked at it, it looked like Paris and the Seine to me, like where the Statue of Liberty is and how it comes around the corner and the different bridges, because there were multiple bridges in this picture. So it was strange that I was getting Paris there. And then it was 1221. 1220 to 21, which I just brought up 1221 for the Sagittarius energy. So going back to Mesopotamia, you have the Canaan and the Akkadian, Akkadian, which is also spelled with C's as well, but the Canaans and the Akkadian languages, which were Semitic language. And when I looked up AKKA, it literally means bitch, old woman, wife, witch, crone, hag, but also means wooden canoe and arrow. So very different energies from this playing down of the female. So AKKA, which is like kaka, but inverted, akka means bitch, old woman, wife, witch, crone, hag. So all the negative words you can call a woman is this Akkadian language here. You know, holding down the female. But remember the wooden canoe, because for me that's what comes up with the whispering bench. And the arrow is the Sagittarius, or the male's arrow, right? So Mesopotamia is just the land between the rivers. That's what it means, between the Euphrates and the Tigris. And the Sumerians were one of the earliest powers there, and then replaced by the Akkadians. And the Babylonians there too. They were all just different people, the same people, but coming into power. So they're pretty much the same culture until Persian and Macedonians' conquest. So then the Moroccan. So here we have the Moroccan, who's blue, like the blue rays, who laughs. As I just told you, Aquarius is about lightening up the load and being more in your happiness. The friendly Moors, like their culture is more of reaching out to others and being friendly. Like a rock, being very solid, and a twin. The Maroc is exalted and healthy and celebratory aqueduct, the water and the grass, which then it feeds, as opposed to the desert. The rooster here in the Moroccan is the awakener, the caw of the crow, the channeler, the ones who come together to see, to say, and to humble the lake, to make it all smoothed out. The Sumer becomes exalted in the Moroccan goat and sheep, with a lion's heart that never gives up, whose ale is brewed in Cumberland or Cumberland. Come to the Berbers, or Ber, which means cold, right, near the water to cool off in the mountains in Morocco as opposed to Mesopotamia. The Sumer Sagittarius rule until the Moro lion lamb time, the lion's gate of the Syrians, learning how to not take themselves so seriously and laugh while being humble at the same time. At 1244 is the hanging man and the 44 of Atlas and the grounding, integrating, mastering of how to receive love, and Atlas allowing Hercules to take over for them for a minute, right? The horse with the heavy load is the Atlas energy to carry, versus pairing up or being the lion and the lamb, the non-identical twins. The lion and the aqualion lightening up the load with less water, more lightness. As the dolphins and whales take to the skies under the watchful eagle's eye, the friendly dolphin and the bird who flies, the most unlikely combinations on the etheric path, from orange to gold, where the orange man, which is the veggie or forest man, Tarzan, takes the gold. Red light, green light, Christmas or Christ's Mass. When I went to write July, it wrote Judy, which was so funny because when I talk about July and Jesus, it's the Jews lie, and then we get into Julius in the US, Independence Day. But here it was saying instead of July and the Jews lie, which was coming up, also the Jews' Day is coming up as Independence Day. So the Christmas in July is coming up as July 4th, the Independence Day of the US. The Jews lie and the Jews' Day, or Judy, or Judea, how do you like that? As Julius is July in the US, Independence Day, and independent is independent. So instead of wearing a cross, you're wearing the cross flags of the race, the Indy 500. That cross flags that you see, I kept seeing it in the cards and I was wondering why it's so significant. And here they're saying to change, we're changing from the cross around your neck to the cross flags of the race. But it's like a tie, right? So when you put those two flags out as a warning that the race is about to begin, right? Waving of the flags instead of wearing of the cross, as the human race calls a tie, of the birds and the bees, the cats and the dogs, of the you and the I. We, O-U-I, means yes. I-O-U, U-I-O, I-U-O, O-I-U, U-O-I. Oi, you get the picture. Fins and arms are wings to fly. Water holds light, whether you're wet or dry. You carry water, emotion, and laughter. The call of the wild here. To lighten up. And then I was getting, ah, so like the Tarzan call. And swing from branch to branch. There's much room to try side to side, horizontally, on the Earth's plane, Terra plane, Gaia plane. Vroom, vroom. I'm leaving on a jet plane and I don't know when I'll be back again. As Metatron's rainbow, Noah's Ark, and Thoth's idea, inspiration, or thought at 1258, which is the wisdom of the hanging man and the 58 of the 5D connection of the twins, Metatron's rainbow, Noah's Ark, Thoth's inspiration or thought, remember it's not from here to there. It's around the world in 80 days, the 8 of the Leo strength and the 0 of the lamb, the strength of the lion and the lamb coming full circle even when you can't see the other side of it or the other's point of view. The sine wave, half up, half down. Unless you visit the other hemisphere, of course, There's always a way up. Don't let the Queen's wave, mimicking the sine wave, don't let the hijacked Queen's wave deceive you. She does not hold your power. Remember flower power, the right to sleep with whoever you wanted, the right to abuse your body and take in others' attachments. Now, women, that you've had your sexual freedom, it's a time to bridge that too. Finding a happy medium of freedom to express and connect, and the freedom to love oneself first. Freedom to be with someone or to be alone, or both at the same time. The archer supports the wing, the flyer, but watch out for that archer's arrow. Remember actions and consequences and taking full responsibility for whatever comes into your field. You built it, so they came and they went. So build again, knowing exactly what you want this time, keeping the field open with no pressure, just love and laughter, allowing each other to grieve and purge both together and apart until there's no need when all is one. At 108, the magician and the strength of manifesting your dreams coming true. The shaman on Thanksgiving Day comes with gifts of peace, music, and play. And how? As the shaman king of wands, with their hand up, not a limp wrist, but a hand up in an open wave, enters through the rainbow portal where the desert meets the salt river on the whispering bench canoe, that wooden canoe that was supposed to be a witch or a bitch, but is actually a whispering bench canoe that's coming in with one to become two. Going with the flow as the canoe hits the sand, a spark opened the gate because he was ready to walk through it. To Morocco mountains and beaches, not Akka or Kaka bitches, but the one with the wooden boat and the arrow, as the shaman may be a divine feminine, and the one in the canoe may be the divine masculine with his arrow. As Mesopotamia meets Morocco, Greece and Rome, as Atlas and Hercules pillar the rock of Gibraltar, with the arrow pointing at England, which England is EN, which is my code for Jesus, and gland, so England is coming up as the gland of Jesus, to push us onward down the Strait of Gibraltar to the U.S. Liberty to liberty, from France to U.S., Venetian to Venetian, from Italy to the U.S., desert to desert, from Iraq to the U.S., and sea to shining sea is us, the states of unity, of all people and varieties and beliefs. The pure breeds or elites may not take others into their club, but the mutts welcome all, even those who reject them and left them out in the cold. The mutt will love you for life, but even the mutt needs to learn not to take too much, to not allow their abuse. The loving boundaries of the horse trainer in showing up every day with love in their heart and an apple for the horse. If the horses or the whore, referencing Mary Magdalene, sees, they'll come to you. But if they feel mistrust, they'll shy away. Inspired by the truth, the shaman comes through the false inverted rainbow to correct its reflection, where the land meets the sea, meets the sky, meets the I am. As not a ship, but a boat, a simple, humble boat that comes in a secret peace treaty, or magnanimous, that's of magnanimous proportion, going with the flow 1 to 1, the 2 of cups to 2 as one. And then the 10 cards at the end of the read of destiny. And at the bottom of these cards, at the bottom of it all, is the orange or maple leaf. And then at the top on this card is the blue-green sea of feathers. As the Emperor lets go in a U.S.-Canadian merge, at the top is the split of the family tree working its way back together, top down, as the grandchildren rebuild. The parents or grandparents are leaving them the key at the roots, locked together, but remember, no one can lock you in if your heart is always free. You can resist, what you're in, or you can embrace it to set you free within and then without. So remember, by embracing what you have and loving what you have, that allows you the freedom to be happy, but also the freedom then to get out of what you don't necessarily want to be in, to expand to something even better. So there was your first Metatron read. For me, that was amazing. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my Shaman Dreams message of the day that actually I did yesterday. And this one was also had very significant messages here. All right, so I'm going to show you the picture of this one. All right, so here's my Shaman Dreams read. So it's not just the Shaman Dreams. We have the Shaman Dreams up top. On the left is the underlying energies, and you can see some of the underlying energies from below there, if I show them. And I put them the way they came out. Like here, there's 1, 1, and then 2, and then 1. And then the second line is the Nature's Whispers deck. And actually, this is a pile I had to count. And then Nature's Whispers came out, these 2 and these 2, and then these 3 and these 2. And I'm going to show you these cards literally because they were so beautiful. You're going to want to see them. And then here's the energy deck. So the underlying energies, and then the way they came out for the energy deck. And then the pile here. I think that was a pile. Yeah, it was. Okay. So let me get these cards out too, so I have them when I'm ready to show you those. Okay, so the message of the day here with the Shaman Dreams was at 12:41 to 42 yesterday, which is the Hanging Man, and the Ace of Cups to the Two of Cups, right? The 1 becoming the 2. The underlying energy started with the detox, right? So detoxing yourself, pampering yourself, as the Knight of Cups being love. And beneath that was the Watchers, again being neutral, just standing on the sidelines, just watching and not participating in the chaos, having peace with the 60. The totem pole was coming up here, the totem of neutrality while repairing the body, mind, and spirit, finding peace in loving self, pampering oneself. And I was getting the totem of acoustics. So totem acoustic came up in Canada. So there's Canada again coming in with the United States. And again, I don't know if their boundaries are open or not, but that might be coming up. So the first card out is the Lost in Space card of the 36, which is the Atlas energy. And needing direction, kind of feeling spaced out, which I definitely do after coming back from vacation. You know, you need a little bit of time to get back into things. Or just to feel rebalanced again. The 13 is that transition, right? The Death card. The transition from the Dream Thief here, which in this deck is all about playing it safe, right? What's comfortable for you. And letting go of that, to be open to whatever comes in. And then the 6 came up of the Cosmic Womb, of the Divine Feminine. The 38 of the Many Masks of authenticity, of both etheric or etheric, but it was very washed out energy because it's etheric, right? There's not a lot of mass to it. The 18 of the Eye of the Eagle, which came up in the previous read, the 18 is the Purple Moon and the energy of Cancer season, which we're in right now, and the Mother, and rising above the fray. With 20 cards here, by the way, 2 decks came out with 20 cards, and then 1 came up with something different. But 20 cards came up, and kind of I was getting 3, 5, and 12, which is Judgment of Taurus and Pisces at the bottom of it, and also calling us to hollow ourselves out, right? To humble ourselves, to become hollow, as the 28, as the twin flames, in their choice of path. To be that student of life, right? Always ready for something new. It's okay. And at the top is the 19 of the Falling Angel. The sunshine and the dead man walking, right? Who won't wake up. And the falling asleep under the heat or the pressure of things going on. And that can be literal heat right now too, because it's very hot outside. So with Nature's Whispers at 104 to 106 is the 1 of the Magician, the 4 of the Emperor, and then the Magician again with the 6 of the Lovers. And the underlying energy was be spontaneous with the 31, which is that 5 of Wands of group endeavors and conflict, but also games and chaos and the pursuit of happiness. Beneath that was Love Matters and the number 43 of coming together in friendship and joy. The bird ship comes in as the pirate ship sails, connecting with other realms. The ET reaches out. It's calling you to reach out and touch someone, to phone home, like ET. The first card out was the 11 of Justice and making a decision. The desert versus the jungle, with justice, truth and balance and alignment, and then the 12 of the Hanging Man, seeing new perspectives, expanding from the etheric realm into reality. As in this picture, the hands literally come together, the dear ones appear, double rainbows in this picture as well. And by the way, the double rainbows was coming up from Indigo Angels video because they were talking about what that was. And I just, right before I watched Indigo Angel, I was just telling my son that I haven't seen rainbows in years, let alone a double rainbow. And my son was saying the same thing. And then all of a sudden this double rainbow stuff started coming up. So as the dear one appears and the double rainbows in the sky and 8 balloons, there's that 8 again of the strength of Lionsgate and manifesting your dreams. It's like the 8 balloons are reeling the rainbow to come into alignment with the chakra system. So the 8 balloons are feeling the rainbow come into alignment with their chakra system, because the rainbow, the first rainbow is inverted, but the second rainbow is the correct alignment according to your chakra system. So the first inversion is through the shadow to the correction, just like the cornea or the eye, right? Your eye first inverts the picture and then it corrects it into the brain. And you can watch Indigo Angel's video about that. There's 2 different Indigo Angel videos. And I think they're the last 2 ones she did, but you'll see in the titles. The first inversion through the shadow to the correction of the balance in the red to the purple, the chakra totem. And then chakra was coming up as a personal message to me as well with a session that I just done for somebody. Seeing a new perspective on the chakra system, and shocking Ra, the RA, which is the energy of the sun god, right? The baby nestled in the rock of the tree, and here's where I'm going to show you the pictures because they were beautiful the way they came out. So this first picture that I was just telling you about already, so here we're deciding between the desert and the jungle in this picture, making a decision of justice, truth, and alignment. And then here's the expansion of where she's etheric here, but her hand becomes 3D as the masculine's hand reaches out and touches her hand. It grounds her into this reality. So she becomes, and you see the double rainbows and the 8 balloons here in this picture as well. So it's a really beautiful picture of bringing the union in. It's when the masculine reaches out their hand, it actually grounds the feminine back into this world. And so then the next cards that came up, which are so, so cute, and this is one of my favorite in this deck. Look how sweet. And I told you about this card before because it was literally, my tree in the front yard literally has this little nook, and I see this tree in my front yard as my mother. I told you that story. It's a funny story. But me being her little baby in her nook, because I see that tree as my mother, because my mother's no longer with us. So there's this energy of that sweet little baby and all of the sweet little animals around coming in to check on them. And the card that came up with it is the little girl making ripples in the water as she grows up, okay? Amplifying your positive emotions. This is the rebirthing of the heart, the feminine's heart as she grows up. And look at the little wings. I mean, it's literally the same little girl. The 7 of the Chariot, the vehicle of infiltration, which is also Cancer season, the Chariot. The 13 is which is also bring the 13th sign of Ophiuchus, but the 13 is the transition into the next realm. And the 7 is the vehicle of how you get there. The Chariot is the feminine within the masculine ascending, right, to the next dimension. And here we have the new heart growing up and making ripples out. And this is like our grandchildren too. They're coming back as the crystal children, making the difference in the rebuild, right? The indigos break everything down, the crystals come back to build it back up, and then the rainbow children are just there to smile and make everybody happy, right? So in those 2 cards is the baby nestled in the nook of the tree with irises or eye rises, the eye rises in reflection of the lens used. And all the little animal friends, as all the little animal friends gather around right here. The toad, the squirrel, the bird, and the chipmunk, and other critters, and the transition to renewal of peace, of that little baby with their butt up in the air, which I literally talk about that too, because I had to bring Matthew home from the hospital with his little butt up in the air because he was constipated at birth. So it reminded me of that too. It's so sweet. The new self of Scorpio to Cancer, and amplifying your positive emotions with a ripple effect as the totem trees. Now notice that she's making a ripple effect, and there's actually faces in the trees here. The totem trees, here and here, they're watching her, right? They're the parents and grandparents watching her. They're always keeping an eye on her as she grows. The transition to the renewal of peace with their butt up in the air. The new self with Scorpio Cancer, amplifying your positive emotions and that ripple effect as the totem trees surround that little fairy girl, which the fairy girl came up the other day that I showed you, touching the trunk of the tree. The fairy girl exploring before ever went up to the emperor's trunk in that picture that I showed you before to touch them, because they actually came up and touched the trunk of the tree. And here she's just growing up. She's not quite ready to reach out and touch someone and touch that trunk of the tree where she came from. So the emperor's trunk, and the other picture I showed you was literally a little fairy girl with sparkles in her hair, like having the courage to go up and touch the tree trunk of the masculine. So 11, 12, and 13 were coming up right in a row here, which is the 60 is 10, 11, 12, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 5D. Then 10, 11, 12 is 60. 13 is the transition into the next. It's like into the God consciousness of 14 and 15 and 16. It's like 13 or 14 is like the space between. It's like a null kind of energy. But the 11, 12, 13 here then goes to the 7, which is the chariot, into the next realm with transportation, heaven on earth with clear, free energy. So again, imagining what heaven on earth is, because we're talking about the crystals here. If you look up how to use the Vogel crystals, you're learning how to put your focused intent into the crystal, which I have an important message about that before I forget. And that's what's coming up here. Imagining what you want in heaven on earth so that you bring it into your crystal energy, which amplifies your positive emotions. The 7 into the next realm, heaven on earth, and clear, free energy and water, using crystal intentions to clear your own water. So a couple things about water. Number one, I forget his name. One of the YouTubers out there who was talking about one day, and he used to talk with Lori Ladd, but not so much anymore. I don't see him with her so much anymore. But he said that if you stir your water, it corrects the molecules. Well, when I watched the stuff on Vogel that they were talking about on Indigo Angel yesterday, it brought up the same kind of energy. They literally said that by having cleared a crystal, you can't just use a crystal and expect it to work for you. You have to know how to clear it and then know how to set your intentions into that crystal. But when Vogel was experimenting, he put a cleared crystal into a winery, and all of the wine that would then circle around this, because the molecules can't uncorrect. They can only go towards the greater. So the bad molecules will correct to the good molecules, but the bad molecules can't take down the good molecules. They'll stay intact. So he circled the wine that wasn't so great around the crystal and actually produced an award-winning wine by doing that. So I don't understand why we're not doing this with water, because it affects everything in the chain. So anything that's connected to the water that's circling around the crystal will get changed into that positive crystallation, which is that same energy of stirring. So I actually have a crystal in my, I've had a rose quartz in my glass the past couple years, in my water glass, but I changed it to a clear quartz crystal, And I am doing the stirring thing every time, and I've been stirring my water already anyway, but now I'm stirring it with intention around that clear quartz crystal. And that should correct the molecules, even if there's stuff in your water that shouldn't be there. If you're correcting the molecular status of the water, it should change all of that. So, and I don't know why we're not doing this with our regular water system, because if Vogel did it with the wine, why can't we do that with our local water systems? It doesn't make sense that we can't. So we need to really get that Vogel energy out there and get our townships to start using this kind of energy to affect our water. And we need to do that by starting to do it on our own with our own families and teaching our children how to do it as well. So using crystal intentions to clear your water is so important. And again, water is going to eventually be free, water and electricity. So we're visualizing this for our new world, putting that intention to your crystal if you use it. All free and friends with the animals as well, with vibrant colors of nature that talk to us as well. A swell of emotion. So these are all the energies of what we want to see. And then this is at 123, which is 1, 2, 3, jump. Right? Take that leap of faith. Make a wish with dandelion, which again is the Dan, and it always cracks me up because Elena Danan is always partnering up with Dans, and her last name is Danan. So here's the dandelion. Make a wish with dandelion, which is Dan of the lion, dressed in green trees and yellow flowers. And the eastern horizon was coming up here. The magician manifests into reality so that the Queen of Wands, be your best self always. The mermaid comes up riding the seahorse. And that's literally, mermaid is the maid of the letter C. So not just the ocean sea and what we see with our eyes, but the sea of the whispering bench. Riding the seahorse, which is like riding the rocking horse that a kid rides on. The whispering bench with Mr. Ed, with a few little seahorses watching you interact, mimicking on a rocking horse in a coral reef where hair lets loose. And here the hair was referencing the play Hair and the age of Aquarius, and Spirit's connecting with me. In rainbow style and fashion, when the moon is in the 7th house, which is, it's all in perspective, remember you guys. When the moon is in the 7th house, which is the Chariot's house, which is Cancer and July, and Jupiter aligns or resonates positively aspecting Mars, which is now, because Mars and Jupiter are both in Aries through July 5th, expanding benevolent action, the peace will guide the planets, right? And the love will steer the stars. The 5 planets lining up on the 24th, and that is under thecosmos.com, but you can just look up the planets for 6/24/22, because that's where they all lined up. That was at 7:42, and that was the new moon's coming in on the 28th. Okay. So in June, the 5 planets lining up on the 24th, peaking on the 24th of the morning, 45 minutes before sunrise, which was a couple days ago, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are lining up in that order for the first time since December 2004, and the next won't be till 2040. While it is common to see 3 planets close, 5 is rare, and even more rare in their natural order where they are now. It started June 3rd and 4th, and then Mercury is near Aldebaran, and by the way, Aldebaran is described as the orange tinted star, which keeps coming up in my one card, and I kept getting Jupiter with Ganymede, which is also coming up as orange, but Aldebaran was also coming up here as the orange star, which is the eye of the bull in Taurus constellation. Okay, so the eye of the bull is coming right for you in the orange. Venus was at Pleiades, the moon was at Aries, and the Mars at Pisces with Jupiter as well, not as close. And then Saturn, Aquarius, and Perseus, Triangulum, and Andromeda were over Mercury and Venus and the moon. Pegasus was over Jupiter and Saturn in the field of the way the planets lined up. Mars joined the planets at 1:44. How cool is that? And we're talking about when Jupiter aligns with Mars at 1:44. And Venus was at 3:33. Mercury joined at 4:11. And in the year 2022. So you have 1:44, the 44, Venus of the 33, Mercury of the 11, and then the year is 22. So you have 11, 22, 33, and 44 all line up with this planetary lineup along with the moon as well. And Mercury doesn't leave until early July, so they're all aligned pretty much until, after the first couple days of July. All right, so I'm going to tell you that again. As the Queen of Wands is being called to be your best self always, as the Magician manifests into reality, your dreams coming true. The mermaid or the maid of the sea, the whispering bench, riding the seahorse, which is that whispering bench of the canoe that the masculine can make out of his wooden canoe. The seahorse or riding horse, the whispering bench, with Mr. Ed, which is the Sagittarius energy, with a few little seahorses watching you interact with them. Mimicking on a rocking horse, the kids are imitating how you guys come together in a coral reef where your hair lets loose in a rainbow style or fashion when the moon is in the 7th house of the feminine within the masculine ascending, the Chariot's house of Cancer and July, as Jupiter aligns and resonates positively aspecting Mars, expanding benevolent action, the peace that will guide the planets, and the love that will steer the stars. The 5 planets lining up on the 24th in June, peaking on the 24th, but then into the 25th and 26th as well, and all the way into July until Mercury then gets out of the picture. As 6:24, the moon joins the lineup. So there, like I said, there were 6 bodies actually in that picture from 3:39 to 4:43 that morning in the AM. By September, Venus and Saturn will no longer be visible to most observers. Okay, Venus and Saturn. M13, the globular star cluster, the Hercules cluster, with thousands of stars and 12 billion years old, almost the age of the universe itself. All right, so this came up in a different place than it came up today. I didn't even remember it came up on this when I got M13 today. But June 25th at 9:12 p.m. and then the sun on 6:26 at 5:59 a.m., 7 planets are visible. And again, that's today. And that's why I was outside last night looking up at the sky. So I was trying to see the lineup of the planets, and I did see a lot of the planets in the sky. They were very apparent, but my camera couldn't catch it very well. And then I saw what should be a plane, but I saw it, and it did not look like a plane. It was diamond shape. It had 4 lights. Like, so if you just see the lights, you'd say, oh, that's just a plane. But there were equal lights, and usually the plane doesn't have 4 equal lights. And I literally saw the underneath of this vehicle, and it was a triangle square shape. It was not a plane. And that went over, it was going east above my house. I have no idea what it was, but it did not look like a plane. And I just had to put it out there. I could be wrong, but I saw it with my eyes, and it was very obvious to me. I'm like, what the heck is that? It was not a plane. So June 21st to July 22nd is the sun in Cancer of loved ones and emotions. Mercury is in Gemini from the 13th to July 5th, as well as Venus in Gemini the 22nd to July 17th. So there's a lot of curiosity and communication and superficial knowledge with Gemini and Mercury, and then a lot of variety and bonding on a mental level with words and thoughts with Venus in Gemini. The shadow of Gemini is fickleness and disinterest in profundity was coming up here. I'm not sure which site that was. It could be, I can't remember which one it was. I didn't write it down. But thank you for whoever gave that information. The shadow of Gemini is fickleness and disinterest in profundity. And Mars in Aquarius, Mars is in Aries as well as Jupiter. Mars is in Aries till the 5th of July because it's been in there since May, and Jupiter is in Aries until October 28th, 2022, which is the day my son was supposed to be born, but he didn't come until right after midnight on the 29th. So Mars is at home in Aries, so it's very courageous and competitive and confident. But also, you know, they can be arrogant and self-centered when they're in that positive energy, right? So be careful of that Aries energy. Saturn is in Aquarius with peace and guidance. That has to do with that part of the song. And then Uranus and Taurus, as I was getting, love steering the stars. Because of that consistency of like tempering Uranus, because that's sudden events, and Taurus resists sudden events. So it tempers that energy, like doesn't make things so sudden. It makes them more able to deal with those events. Like being patient in love. So the Saturn of restriction is coming up with Aquarius, which feels very unrestricted, so it's kind of tempering the Saturn energy with peace. And again, laughter. And then love steering the stars. On June 28th is the Venus sextiling Jupiter with friendly romantic new moon. And then July 3rd is Venus sesquiquadrating Pluto. So there could be some jealousy that comes up on the 3rd. August 4th, which is Valentine's Day, that Chinese Valentine's Day, is Mercury entering Virgo. And what else was coming up here? So then getting back to the read, it was 2/14, which is Valentine's Day, literally. And the Magician number 1, which was just coming up in something I looked up for July 2nd, the first sign was in Leo. And then the 24 of the Queen of Wands, which could be Leo energy because she's a fire sign, and the 5 planets on the 24th, and the moon lineup, which is the 6th, the 25th and the 26th with the 7th planets visible, leading into the 38 of the Queen of Cups, acceptance of love as the tree trunk comes alive and embraces the little girl who's now all grown up through the vines and flower beds. He is stationary and solid, and she is ever twisting and turning around him. And then the 20 cards came up again, where at the bottom of it was the 6 of the big picture, and at the top was the 22 of the leap of faith. Growing flowers and arcing rainbows from hands and dancing on toe, the tightrope of the spider web. So I'm going to show you these cards too because they were beautiful. It literally told the story. So here's the feminine coming into her power, becoming very one with nature and making a wish. And here's that Mary Magdalene yellow, making a wish as the magician, a magician embodiment of manifesting dreams. And then the 24 that just came up of the Queen of Wands, and her riding the seahorse, right? That perhaps the masculine made himself into from that wooden canoe. And here's her wild hare that brought us into Hare, the play in the age of Aquarius. Be it your best self always. Once you make your wish, be your highest vibration always as the Queen of Wands if you want to manifest in a physical reality as the wands do. Then the 38, you have to come into your 38 Queen of Cups, which is that Mary Magdalene energy of where I told you about the little girl touching the tree before. She's now grown up and is now in the arms of the tree in acceptance of love as the Queen of Cups. How beautiful is that? Now come on. You have the Queen of Wands coming into her Queen of Cups because it's all the same person. The Magician, the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Cups is all the Divine Feminine right there. So with the spider thread that she's walking on there at the end of that read, she's got the net is below, the spider web net, but they're showing you that you can't see this. It's like the grid. You can't see the energy lines. So when someone's walking around in the air, it looks like they're flying or just walking on air. They literally have little threads of webs, like a tightrope that they can walk on, and a spider web to catch them if they fall without being seen. The invisibility or threads or of the threads in the illusion of walking on air. I'm in heaven. So that's coming up too, and that was at the end of the Green Mile. the chaos of Mercury at Aldebaran in the lineup. So there may be some chaos in communication due to that orange planet, or that orange star. Okay, so then we get into the energy deck. I'm still not finished the read. At 222, so there's that guidance counselor show, and the combinations of the 222, which is all about that one-to-one, the fool's journey of the open heart, taking that leap of faith, and then the 6 of love. Someone just sped in a black race car up the street. So, the energy deck started out with the third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, as the 37, which is the King of Cups, and their confidence, really shining and glowing in their confidence. And beneath that was the Angel of Love with the 49, which is the Get Your Wish card and self-satisfaction. Once you're happy alone with yourself and getting your wish, the confidence shows up in being unconditional love. The happy King of Cups is having a party in his own mind about the happiness he feels. And the backstory here, underneath all this, is the family vacation with the Magician and the Emperor, or the Aries King of Wands. And while the King of Wands' hands are tied or is playing coy, the Queen of Swords, Hercules, is holding up the moon as the moon goddess, or Cancer season. When the storm warning occurred, it was destined in Cancer, with Libra on a journey of High Priestess and Divine Feminine across the bridge with open direction, as I talked about the bridge closing in Miami yesterday, or the day before. Across the bridge with open direction, leaving things open without conditions, to the Queen of Wands, making a horizontal move. By the way, that Libra can be Pisces energy as well, but making a horizontal move with or as the Dark Mother, or one envious and or judgmental here, as the Queen of Swords is between the King of Wands and the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, and Mother or Aquarius, or judgmental and envious female with daughter and son, or the grandmother with son and granddaughter or pet, or Angel of Love, the King of Cups, finding their confidence finally. At 233, which is the High Priestess and the unity consciousness of Christ, the Christ vibration of 33, and standing up for oneself. And the first card that came up was the cornucopia, which I was guided to break down right away. So normally that's just a very abundant feeling, right? But the corn and cornu both mean horn. And my maiden name is Cope, so of course that always came up because people used to call us Copey all the time. So the horn of the coping of the A is the 0 of the human with the tail on it, which is connection, the human connection. So the horn, or the wake-up call, of the coping connection, the horn-cope connection, which is also coming up as Cornus Capri, which is the horns of a goat, so then bringing in Capricorn and the goat or the ram or the sheep type of energy, both being strong of the goat and soft as the lamb, right? That energy of both, able to, it's like Superman, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, but being soft and sweet as well, and pure of heart, like the sheep or the lamb. The horns of a goat, the Cornus Capri, and also was coming up the skull, the brain, the bow, the deer, the antler, the wing, the arm, the bill of the bird was coming up under this. The end of the book or scroll, which is usually made of ivory here. The power or strength or might is coming up all for cornucopia. The power of the cope connection, the coping mechanism. The cornucopia, the justice of Libra and Thanksgiving every day. The appreciation for the shadow, or Capricorn and that goat who's got to climb that hill and never give up. And the hermit's or Virgo's broken heart repaired, but scars still evident. The King of Cups, Libra, with Capricorn or Virgo, and or 2 little girls or 2 sisters, or Angel of Balance walking away, and one with anxiety staying home, or 2 sides of the same person. Having experienced Atlantis, and now liking to or preferring to stay home, the garden and the gate, there's no place like home. No desert for them. So again, they had too much of a bad experience in Atlantis. The feminine was staying away from there and being protected by the home. And then the 38 of the Queen of Cups comes up with a strong masculine side. a strong masculine heart, the heart of the lion, along with the King of Cups, with a feminine solar plexus. So it's coming up as them mixing it up, right? So the feminine is very, Queen of Cups is very feminine, but having that strong masculine heart, right, to be able to bear witness to all of this, along with the King of Cups masculine, who's coming more into his feminine confidence in his solar plexus. The purity of air on the journey, purifying the air on a journey to open doors on this journey, taking action for dreams to come true with the 17, and merging polarities of the dark horse catching up with the white horse in the lead, merging at the 44, the grounding, integrating, mastering, and receiving of love, but also Atlas energy of the weight of the world, the woman holding the heart, holding her heart, her strong masculine heart, on display, learning to ground, integrate, and master, receiving of love not received as a child. The 11 cards then came up here, and notice that we had 2 20 piles and 11. They both have to do with the justice system, right? We have justice and judgment. The 11 cards of the 20s and the 11s of legal stuff, and at the bottom of it is justice and alignment in a one-to-one connection with the scorned or angry woman holding a coin, and at the top the man grieving and holding a heart. So again, switching places now, where the feminine was sad before and the masculine was angry, now the masculine's angry and the feminine is, or the masculine's sad and the feminine is in her masculine heart. She's softening and he is learning to step it up through the valley of the shadow to see the light. At 248, the hanging man, and the 48 of walking away and within of the 8 of cups. And or cutting the apron strings of the mother and son, and the father and the daughter, boldly in Cancer to Virgo season, which is now through Virgo season, which starts mid-August around the 22nd, with Hermit in need of peace, with the Page of Wands upright and the Page of Pentacles reversed, or returning home. So, yeah, there you go. So now I'm going to get into the main read on the table, and I'll hopefully I'll be able to do the other messages of the day from the 4 decks I usually use. There's just 2 of those. I'll do them on a separate video if I'm able to get there. All right. So now we have the 7 deck read on the table in front of you. I'm just going to show you a picture of that one. All right, so this is the main read from the SIRIAN Starseed deck. It's 12722 here. If anyone wants to document that in the comments, that would be great. It's 12727 as well. All right, so that's the SIRIAN Starseed deck, which is also relating to the lineup on 8/8 with Sirius. There's another even more significant one next summer. I told you about that one before. Sorry, that's the other read. So here's all 7 decks from that read that you see on the table. Okay. So this was cut and dealt at 9:54 p.m. And this was last night. And by the way, I watched The Man from Toronto. That was interesting. What else did I watch? I watched something else last night. I can't remember what it was called that I watched last night. Did I swore I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. I put on I didn't watch Doom of Love, but I actually fell asleep. But that looked kind of interesting. So if you haven't watched Doom of Love, you might want to check out the preview at least, see if you might like that. I can't remember the other one I watched. It was a really sweet movie, actually. The movie opens up with him in the hospital, crying a tear with his mother there because he wakes up. So obviously he was in some kind of trauma. And the movie is all about what happened to him. So if you know which movie I'm talking about, yeah, watch that. It's a really sweet movie. All right, so the SIRIAN Starseed deck cut at 9:54, which is the Hermit and the Page of Swords. And then at 10:10, which came up today again, 10:10, which is the two Wheels of Fortune, both rolling forward. F crystals came up, and yes, you can be cursing out the crystals if you want, but F for me is Phi, which is expanding and contracting or staying in the middle, reflecting. And ALS also came up again, which is Lou Gehrig's, or in crystals, ALS is being Christ-like or crystal-like, or it's crystals or purging right there. So the reflecting of those energies of being Christ-like or in purging and allowing it all, or saying F to the purging, whatever you want. I finished clarifying at 10:30, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the union of the Four of Wands. And the major arcana that came up were Star, Abundance, and Justice in the main part of the read. Abundance is the Empress. And before the read was the Shadow, which is the Devil, the Higher Self, which is the High Priestess, and the Hanging Man, which is the Hanging Man. And then after the read, the Chariot came up, which we're in Cancer again, is very significant for Cancer season right now. We had 4 cups, 2 wands, 2 pentacles, and no swords in the main cards anyway. And the number's 422 there, if that's significant to you. And the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups were the main players in the read, King of Cups and Knight of Cups. But we also had the 9 of Wands come up in the read, which is the Wounded Warrior. And before the read is the King of Cups. After the read, the Page of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups, the one who's very happy getting their wish and their sovereignty emotionally. We had 33, 44, and 99 come up in the numbers, which is the Christ vibration, the Atlas vibration of the weight of the world, more in a social worker sense in numerology. There's also the grounding, integrating, and mastering of boredom and apathy, but in learning how to receive love. And the 99 of compassion, compassion, compassion of the Hermit, and the all of the 9, the collective of compassion and endings and allowing it all. So 33, 44, 99. And then the main numbers that came up were 1, which is the Magician, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 pick up sticks. So it's going from the 4D into the 5D, and that can reference 6D as well, since we went to the 6. And the code line is all about, oh, by the way, 13 was significant, which is the Death card, 34 of the 8 of Wands, 69 of the Ace of Pentacles, 45 of the Purging card, the 5 of Cups, and 9, 10 begin again. The code line was all about forgiveness, and it was broken up into forgive and E-ness, which can be energy-ness, or however you take it. But I also looked up the word E-N-E-S, which I'll bring to you in a minute. But the code line was all about the number 6. So again, the lovers. And that can be family and community as well. The messages were coming up regarding the key of the M. And I didn't realize that I wasn't thinking about the Messier 13 when I wrote this, because I did this before those. So the M, or Messier 13, or Hercules, is coming up here. And the trademark of Hercules. And that is to carry the weight of the world, isn't it? What is Hercules' trademark? What's Hercules' trademark? I'm blanking out. I mean, Achilles is the Achilles heel. And the weight of the world is Atlas's energy. So what's Hercules' trademark? I'm blanking out. Because Hercules, isn't it like Popeye and spinach and all that? You have to let me know in the comments. I can't remember. So the trademark of Hercules, the key of Hercules, and a lot about the keys coming up, to make sure when you find keys that are leading the way, make sure they have a consciousness to them, that you see an aura around them, that they're natural. The key M, or the trademark, the lovers, of course, make a quick left, or perhaps exiting left quickly, making a Louis. 1 of 2, support to divide or divine, but there's the energy of the fodder, right? The leftover feed, the ointment, the flush, yogurt, fat, large schmaltz, and the grease. The abundance of the Knight of Cups regarding forgiveness. And abundance can be the Empress as well. So it could be the Empress offering love, or literally the abundance of the Knight of Cups being love, regarding forgiveness and being very compassionate. Complete Six of Cups, which is the two children loving each other. So feeling complete in that union, but to the left, so siding with the feminine a little bit, right? So, and that was coming up in the other stuff as I was reading the reads to you, that it looks like the balance was to be on to the feminine side, right, to the light, which is coming up here as to the left. One of two, divide, or perhaps divination, the abundance of the Knight of Cups regarding forgiveness and compassion. Again, TM is trademark, and apparently here it's also Messier 33 in Hercules, and the key of Hercules, which is their strength, but that's not just physical strength, that's inner strength. TM also means completeness, finished, to be complete. So there's a lot of finalization here. The key to Hercules, Hercules, which is her harvest. The key to her harvest, the god Atom is also coming up, which is like Adam. Everything, and then ENES was coming up for the forgiveness, ENESS, but there was no ESS, but there was ENES, which I'm losing my voice. So I don't know if that's an incorrect definition or if it's just because someone's lonely and they're not speaking their truth, because ENES means lonely and one. It also means the sand and the beach, a lot, eater, juniper, to see. It's an island as well as we, and going inwards, and the number 4 of the Emperor, and stability. It's also coming up as finished, complete, atom, 6, perhaps has 6 ovens, or a lover's stove. Without Jesus, though. It's like cooking up something without going within, right? Without like kind of blessing your food. And it's not about any religion or prayer. It's about resonating with everything you take in, because you don't want to take in all the wounds of the animal if you're eating the animal, or even of the vegetables if you're eating vegetables. So you want to come into resonance and love with that energy, which is the point of prayer when you eat. It's kind of like someone cooking up things without the energy of having love in their heart. Right, needing 6 ovens. Who needs 6 ovens? It's like having a chef's kitchen where you need, all these ovens. Like, do you really need all those ovens? And if you're a professional, of course you do, because you're serving a lot of people. But if you're just home and you might serve a couple people every day, do you really need 6 ovens, or is it just for show? And then the lover's stove, which also can come up as the fireplace, right? The hearth is the home. But there's completion here with Adam and the 6 ovens, or lover's stove. I keep getting lover's stone as well. Right, the sword and the stone, that the sword won't come out of the stone without that love, that authentic loving heart. One of two, divide up, abundance, or the Empress or Knight of Cups offers love regarding forgiveness or loneliness, or somebody's forgiving someone because they're lonely, not because they really want to be back with them, but they don't like to be alone. And then the key to the M6 was coming up. So whatever M6 means for you, which is a BMW, was coming up here, which cost, in 2018, it was $124,000 to $125,000, the BMW. So you see there's a lot of pricey things coming up here. Are people buying things because they actually make them happy, or just for show? And they're doing it without that loving heart. And I was guided to list everything about this car. 560 horsepower. Notice the numbers here. I always talk about 56 because that's your knowing and keeping your energy clear, the 2 of Swords. 560 horsepower, so power in your knowing, and then 4.4, which is the 44 of Atlas, and learning how to master love, receiving love. So it's 4.4 liter, and it's a twin turbo, and it's a V8. The V is creation, and 8 is the dance between your masculine and feminine. Mated to a 7-speed auto, and there's that 7 of the Chariot, or it's a 7-speed auto, or the manual is, I think, 6-speed. 4-seat convertible, of course, to the left. Or UK longest motorway is also M6, from the Midlands to the border of Scotland. Also, it's an American heavy tank they used during World War II. Fodder divining abundance with the Knight of Cups regarding forgiveness or loneliness. So someone could be doing things for the wrong reason, like forgiving, asking someone to take them back because they don't like to be by themselves and they don't really want to be with that other person, or buying things just to look a certain status. Completely finished. Lovers, of course. Left. Support dividing abundance by offering love regarding forgiveness, loneliness, oneness, island, being an island to oneself, or inwardness. So take it as it comes to you. But there could just be dividing abundance of the Knight of Cups as well regarding forgiveness, so being forgiving and allowing the split of funds or time or energy, or in a divorce, that kind of thing. There's also the energy of 1 or 2, or someone might have had a mastectomy as well. And the Six of Cups was very significant because it's at the bottom. It's the bottom card here. It's the Six of Cups with the children hugging each other. That very loving, pure energy coming up at the bottom of all of this. And there could be two, like if you have 2 kids, one could be like really on page with you, and the other one's totally giving you a hard time about things. And being in that forgiveness place either way, that place of compassion either way, of the loving children, as long as they're loving each other. Maybe if you're going through a split, the kids are mad at you, but they're getting along really well. So saying to, if they are giving you a hard time or just mad at you right now, to let it go. Because if they're bonding with their sibling, which maybe they weren't bonding with them before, it's exactly the way it's supposed to happen. By pulling away from you, especially if they're teenagers and they need to pull away from you now anyway, because they need to learn how to be independent. It's really good if they're bonding with their sibling. And that can just be the energy of siblings or best friends, but it can be the twins coming together as well. So we have the Six of Cups upright at the bottom of all this, with the Shadow reversed, the Higher Self upright, the Hanging Man reversed, the Ten of Cups upright, and the King of Cups upright. The detoxing of the Higher Self, awake to the Ten of Cups, King of Cups, and the Six of Cups, all upright together, which is a whole lot of loving energy right there. And it's really like a father and children with the family that are very loving. A happy family, or the King of Cups with the Six of Cups, which can be a soulmate or children. The world, and that can just be fond memories too, like very happy hanging out with his family and then loving memories together, maybe not with any kids. But the world complete for the Divine Feminine as the Queen of Wands comes together with her at the workplace, perhaps hiding out, without sunshine, or making announcements to the Queen of Cups reversed, who may be aroused or performing post-war out in the cold with PTSD. Capricorn and Pisces may be happy together with the King of Cups upright. So again, if the Queen of Cups is the other parent and the kids aren't being nice to them, but they're being nice to the King of Cups, they're saying let it be because it's good, because they're bonding. They'll come back to you, that'll be fine. But let them have their bonding time, that it's going to help you in the long run. The Queen of Wands is coming together without the Queen of Cups reversed, with Leo reversed and Aquarius upright, with the Queen of Cups reversed performing, juggling, or the balancing act, post-war, where 2 are left out in the cold, aroused by defeat, or aroused by the feet, or whistleblower takes them down. Flintstone acting modern, or it's like, Fred Flintstone wearing modern shoes. A caveman trying to be modernized by their shoes, right? By the status of their shoes, or takes down the field, or smackdown, so some of you might like wrestling, or someone got hurt and we're off to the doctor's office. Or the Queen of Cups reversed is getting off by hurting others, or someone seeing them that way. The Knight of Cups is upright, which is coming up as the Archer, with the arrow aimed to end the war, to deal with the nightmares. And the Emperor reversed, or post-war Emperor reversed, may be bedridden, or fell out of bed and unable to forget. So if they didn't wake up themselves, it's like literally the universe is pushing them out of bed, literally, to wake them up. At 11:39, which is Justice and the Knight of Cups, which is upright. At 39, and that could be, 11 is Justice, that could be Libra as well, and the 39 of the Knight of Cups. You deserve love, and beneath that calling in your soulmate. As the Six of Cups upright out in the cold with the Five of Pentacles, And the Emperor reversed, who deserves love too, even if they haven't been very nice to you. Everyone deserves love. Being impatient in a split, or fallen angel, perhaps lying and causing a divide. The man with two lovers dumps one or both, or dumping a load, burden, responsibilities, and confessing only after caught. Risky business, being naked without armor on or their sword, together but distant, or distant from each other and yet close. Trying to explain hairy legs, or crossing the vine or trip line, or how they got poison ivy, or how they got the frog and warts, or man unable to control their daughters, so they're letting them go. Never promised you a rose garden or a horse. Of course, and now one is gone and the other's not talking, or man with two women caught their wife with another. So it can go both ways. Perseverance is number 4 here with the Emperor, or that can be just control or building, constructing, or just wanting stability. That perseverance. And beneath is domestic harmony, so it's very much about trying to find that balance at home with the 46 of the 6 of Cups, of the children loving each other. So if they're mad at you, but they're getting along now, let it be. Don't try to force it. Attempting to end the suffering in silence, or end things with a sister, or end stress, or not being able to sleep at night. Perhaps manipulation, insecurity, and the inability to manifest. Dumped or overwhelmed, or constant leaks, or sweating it out. With the Page of Swords reversed and the Page of Pentacles reversed, with the Queen of Swords upright, with the light, perhaps, and rejection, or the Knight of Cups reversed. Just here is reversed. The rest of the read, the Knight of Cups is upright. But here there's some jealousy coming out, and that can be in people around the Queen of Swords because she's emanating a lot of light. With Gemini and Virgo both reversed here, and the Star, Queen of Swords, rejected or rejecting them, or the Frog and Royalty and the Schmoozer. What a pair. After the Page of Wands reversed, came to the Three of Pentacles workplace, stressed out without the tools they needed, or without emotional tools, and dumped or dumped on by the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles both reversed, and the Queen of Swords is the light, and the Knight of Cups reversed, paling in comparison, or Sagittarius kissing up. The Queen of Swords could be Aquarius or Virgo here, and the Knight of Cups reversed with the Six of Cups and the Five of Pentacles is with the Emperor reversed. Perhaps they took a risk together that didn't pan out. Hello?
Hello.
Are you just there?
Just got home.
All right, I'm recording right now. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Sorry about that. My son just drove like 5 hours. Just want to make sure he got home okay. So this is with the Queen of Swords and the Emperor, or the Knight of Cups reversed and the Emperor actually here. It looks like they may have taken a risk together that didn't pan out, which is why they're both reversed, because they're upset about it. But the Emperor reversed may still be persevering, but it didn't work out. So why are they doing that at 12:01, which is the Hanging Man and the Magician? So perhaps going forward after this read, they're insecure without tools, with the Magician reversed there, manipulating confession to get over loss and regret, with new passion starting over, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, clinging to death, an ending or dark night destined to move, or Scorpio, Libra, Cancer without peace, with the Page of Wands upright and the Hermit upright, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help or a missed opportunity there, with the Hermit or Virgo upright without peace, and the Page of Wands upright, the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, maybe holding on or being Scroogey to the death in order to school the golden goose, or teach them a lesson. At 12:08 is the Hanging Man and the Strength, or manifestation, and recently is the injustice or of failure, or a bad reputation, or under the radar, not living up to higher self, receiving big love from the Page of Cups reversed, perhaps Scorpio, or sudden rejection, implementing a plan that's not fair to the Six of Cups, soulmate or kids, or self-satisfied King of Pentacles upright with the Six of Cups, soulmate or kids, in disconnect or at a distance from them, with detoxing, the Devil, or detoxing injustice. With Capricorn, Libra reversed, The Knight of Cups, Page of Swords, and the Page of Pentacles, all reversed, may be paling in her shadow or in her comparison. So again, there's that jealousy popping up again, which, by the way, said was supposed to come up around July 3rd. So keep note of that. At 12:12, which is 2 hanging out together, with Libra reversed and Capricorn reversed, Pisces and Scorpio upright here. The foundation is the 4 of Cups reversed, no longer wishing on a star above. Dumping emotional attachments, no longer confused. The King of Pentacles looking fondly upon the Page of Swords, even though they're reversed. With the 10 of Cups upright and the 9 of Cups both upright, happy family and happy self. With Cancer upright and Queen of Swords now reversed, ruling over them, but not allowing it to bother, not the King of Pentacles isn't allowing it to bother them, whether the Queen of Swords or the Page of Swords is being moody and difficult or being verbally abusive. It's like they're just smiling at them. Okay, I love you. As Cancer season is upon them now, and all the emotions coming up. Air signs may not be happy here, not getting their way, or King of Pentacles and Cancer may be snapping at each other. Or the King of Pentacles' father is laughing at them, the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Perhaps they're their kids, or a kid and a mother, being moody and difficult, both the same, or maybe both their periods, and that's what the King of Pentacles is saying here, but he's just smiling. But misery loves company may also be coming up here. The central energy is the Star, Page of Wands, with the Page of Cups who's reversed, defending their territory. Perhaps a fiery Aquarius and a rejected Libra reversed, or the Star and the spoiled one, or the crybaby, or the way the Star is deeming them. The Page of Wands fending off the Page of Cups reversed, who may be stealing or cheating or running away from the Hierophant or Taurus, religion or establishment, or a marriage that's heavily guarded in a breakup or without affection of the Page of Pentacles reversed, with the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community with dysfunction or loss, or the injustice of the Page of Wands upright and the Page of Cups reversed, as the 6 of Cups, the kids of a cheating scenario, or one is running away and one left for dead, unable to keep up with the other. And the challenge being abundance, or the Empress at home, in a breakup or without affection at night, or with Gemini reversed and Cancer upright, being offered a new project, perhaps that the other person's been working on for a while, but feeling that it's unfair and not expressing their true desires or feelings of being left behind for dead, and now this person just coming back and offering you something? It's like, because they still, like, well, you left me behind for dead without a second thought, and now all of a sudden you're just coming in and offering me a project? That, like, you know, they're not making peace with them first before trying to offer them something. And then we have Empress upright using their feminine wiles in a sudden jealous rage and disconnect and no peace, with the King of Swords reversed and the King of Pentacles upright, fallen angel, the Emperor reversed, working to invest in making a fool of themselves in front of the world, or at least the Divine Feminine or Pisces. So it can be the Emperor reversed may be doing this on purpose because they don't care anymore, or the Emperor's mad because the King of Pentacles is doing this in front of the world. We have Aries reversed and Pisces upright there, with Taurus and Scorpio both upright, in disconnect or at a distance from each other, and no peace with the King of Swords reversed, who's being negative or a cheater, and the King of Pentacles fallen angel, and the Emperor reversed is always working, or the King of Pentacles is losing patience due to the Emperor reversed, expecting an assembly line to implement his plan to fall from grace and come full circle. And now is the 3 of Wands, being present in the moment or present at home. Arrogant and manipulative Empress, maybe jealous lover or Gemini, being arrogant devil schmoozer, or insecure lover getting their wish, with Capricorn here on fire. As the King of Cups is upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or King of Cups is gifted and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, perhaps has Virgo in their chart but not Sun Virgo, may be insecure about the home's presence. And then it was 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door, at 12:34, which is the Hanging Man and the energetic exchange, with the Chariot upright and the 9 of Pentacles sovereign upright, with big love at work. Perhaps someone heartbroken or in separation apart from their love, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed being stubborn or foolish, present to the wake-up call, or an announcement of Virgo or Hermit with advice, getting off the fence, the King of Swords reversed in a bold move to one last attempt to wake them, to split home, destined Libra and the Emperor reversed, to telling their desires, to trying to get over it and awaken to find balance again. The King of Swords at 1238, which is the Hanging Man, and the Queen of Cups, which is Jesus and Mary Magdalene. The King of Swords reversed may be pissed off in separation, but off the fence and trying to wake up the King of Pentacles, who, the King of Cups, is saving the Emperor reverse ass. Oh, who? No, I'm sorry, not the King of Cups. It's just keeps. The King of Pentacles, who keeps saving the Emperor's ass, because the Emperor's reversed here. The King of Swords is pissed off, but off the fence, trying to wake up the King of Pentacles, who keeps saving the Emperor's ass, which they shouldn't be, in order for them to wake up, and to stop doing that, and split the home, or split from home. Soon here is the Nine of Wands, Wounded Warrior, on the last leg between work and home, uncomfortable not walking away, and the Knight of Wands reverse player may be falling short in a losing battle with the Empress, who's upright but without peace, holding on and being strong, taming the beast, with the King of Swords reversed, who's defending themselves about a release, or a release of a hostage, or a prisoner of war of the Empresses. And there could be a Taurus spoiled child here too. And the King of Swords reversed may be standing up for the Divine Feminine here, or Pisces, or a completion, the world, the neighborhood watch. The twin flames seeing themselves as the Ace of Cups upright, dumping a load, awake, and rising above to start over. The Sovereign upright playing hardball, with the Knight of Swords refusing to spill, and given a choice or an ultimatum, or it's an opportunity from their twin. Sovereign withholding from the Knight of Swords unless they open their heart to their twin. So they're saying no unless you open your heart. And it's not just about business. Retreat, playfulness, and attraction come up here, or the Knight of Swords rushing in to play hardball with the Sovereign, who's independent and all that, or to magnetize their money. Maybe they're coming in just to get some of their money. Around the twins are how they're seen as the King of Pentacles, the drained fallen angel, or with kids out of control, or without his sunshine and losing patience, with Leo and Sag both reversed, heartbroken or in separation, with the Queen of Cups reversed, Scorpio, released from prison, and perhaps that could be someone with a really bad jealous streak, or Dark Knight, with no longer a prisoner of fallen angel, or two crazy fire signs here, and one jealous Scorpio, and God bless you if that's your situation. And then the challenge, the block here being the Knight of Cups, upright, offering love, Leo, King of Wands reversed, in disconnect or at a distance, or Strong, King of Wands reversed, or Leo pet, and challenge being strong between the King of Swords and the King of Wands, both reversed in disconnect. The Star or Aquarius may be offering love to end the war, with forgiveness, but even more so, spiritual career, the Divine Feminine in the 5D world. That's no fantasy, hanging out between two dimensions, and the Hermit in the Mary Magdalene cave above the crowd, separated from the Emperor reversed at the workplace, to detox and separation, impatient to wake up, aligning with Hermit and implementing a plan to fall into completion and into their arms. Out in the cold, awake in a balancing act, no longer at the beach or meditating, the Page of Pentacles reversed missed an opportunity, or to travel or move to self-satisfaction and joy in dreams coming true, or Cancer happy to have a reunion with Star, or the one coming together with the one who can heal them. The Six of Cups is starting over, receiving big love from the King of Pentacles, and justice of dreams coming true, and the challenge being the Empress, Wounded Warrior, and the Knight of Cups present to their flame. The Hermit in the Mary Magdalene cave, awake to the Page of Pentacles reversed, opportunist perhaps, or a child in need of help. At 118, which is the Magician and the Moon, or Cancer season now, and travels to find self-satisfaction and coming together with others. The higher self is awake to the Ten of Cups, happy family with the King of Cups and the Six of Cups, or fond memories, and the injustice of rejection, starting over for dreams to come true, to heal, but challenged by the Empress upright, with gifts and new love, and the Wounded Warrior, King of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups and the Hermit alone, awake to the Page of Pentacles reversed, or Capricorn reversed, traveling to get their wish with a group of friends to heal and dream at 121, which is the Magician and the 21 of completion. Oh, and my battery's not working right. Hopefully it's working now. It's this plug, it's loose and it doesn't always connect right, but it just said, all right, so I'm finished now, so let's get to our cards real quick, just to pull a few. I'm just going to give you an energy deck card since we're really going long, it's 2 hours. So just from the energy deck, what are we leaving this with? Because there's a lot of messages in this read. All right, what's our takeaway here? Oh, that came right out. All right, 2 cards flipped right out. We have the 9 of the Hermit and the heart that's healed, right? Because there's a wound showing, but it's healed. And we have the other card is the Garden and the Gate, and that's the one anxious to leave the home, the union, because it feels so comfy and cozy. And so you see this energy here. The Hermit at home, enjoying their home, which looks okay right now. I'm not getting to do anything else. It's like, oh, there's somebody else here to see you. Look at that. The 38 of the Queen of Cups, but also the masculine heart. So this could be the masculine, this could be the feminine, or the feminine and the masculine. It can go both ways. But they both have masculine and feminine energies coming up in the cards. Okay, so this can be a masculine who's not wanting to live home right now because they're in their heart, and the feminine with that Leo heart that we talked about in the other read. And this could be coming together here at the house of the heart. The heart is the home. This is the Hermit. It's the one and the all for one and one for all, the union of the home, and the 38 of the Mary Magdalene energy here. It's very beautiful. It's literally the masculine and the feminine, you know, kind of scared to see each other, but coming together to clear the air, the door to spirit. How beautiful is that? The 32 of the Journey, and the Thinking Man. Like, this is the new mission, and there's the 46 again at the bottom of all of this, getting into the inner child, back into their heart again, to explore what they'd like to do now, and perhaps feeling like they missed an opportunity. The bottom of the deck is that 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel, which is the one not happy, even though they have this crowning achievement, needing to self-love. With the 41 is the Ace of Cups, of self-love, spiritual love, and new love, and finding what they do love to do. And there's that, this came up in the other read too, the unconditional love of the masculine finding their confidence, the 3rd chakra, and coming forward to someone who may not be happy with them, right? Because she's in her crown, waiting all this time in compassion. And it's not like they're not recognizing what she went through. They're just coming in confident and happy. It's like, you know, saying, do you want to do this project with me? But not addressing anything about what they've been through together. And it's not like you want to harbor on that, but there has to be heart opening. Like, why do you want to come together with someone who's just going to use you for business means? It's kind of like that energy. Make sure that they are opening their heart, right? Because you have to self-love first. And this could be kids too, right? This could be 2 kids who are angry with their dad too, or 1 or 2 kids angry with their dad, and then here's the dad going off to find his own thing, like being like a kid again. Maybe the kids are upset with them because they're not paying attention to them. That can be too. All right, I hope you like that. It was pretty profound for me. As it turned 203, which is the High Priestess and the Empress. So remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature. Enjoy the sun out there, and rise and be love, love and rise. All the peace and love in the world to you guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye, guys.